You're listening to ADHD Support Talk. ADHD Support Talk Radio is brought to you by addclasses.com. Visit www.addclasses.com and sign up for helpful online events and resources today. Hello, welcome back to ADHD Support Talk Radio. I'm your co-host, Lynne Edris, and I am a productivity and ADHD coach. So I help overwhelmed professionals and entrepreneurs from all over the world learn to reduce procrastination, improve time management, and get more done with less effort so that they have more time, more energy, and more bandwidth for the things that matter most to them. Remember, guys, it's never about doing more. It's about being more. It's about being in your own life and being present and feeling fulfilled. It's not about crossing more crap off some list each day. So, because guys, I'm a woman with ADHD myself, so I have been where so many of my clients are, and I've come out the other side, so to speak. So I often say that I've gone from living in that constant state of chaos and overwhelm and underperformance that most of us with ADHD have come to know too well to live a life of more success and fulfillment than I really dreamed was possible for me at one time. And I know without a shadow of a doubt that you can share your own version of success with ADHD. It doesn't go away. We don't cure it. We don't solve it, but we sure can learn to live well with it. You can learn more about me and what I do and the programs and services I offer at www.coachingadvantages.com. And when you text the keyword my quiz, no spaces, MYQUIZ, to the number 33777, you'll get complimentary access to my productivity breakthrough quiz to help you identify your productivity type and get to the root of what gets in the way of your productivity and fulfillment so that you can stop struggling and start to take control of your time and your life and show up like the incredible, amazing person you already are more easily and more consistently. So today I want to talk about finishing. This is a tough topic, a tough concept for a lot of my clients with ADHD. Most of us have a trail of unfinished things behind us, projects, to-dos, to-do lists, ideas, concepts. I even spoke with someone earlier today who has started to start many businesses, but never actually got them up and running. So you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about finishing what you've started. Okay. And really, we're closing the loops that we open. So it's really all about follow through and finishing to completion. There are lots of things that can get in the way of us finishing when we have ADHD, right? And it's really important to address every problem that we have, whether we're talking about finishing or anything else, by identifying the real underlying root cause so that we can find the solution that fits. The kinds of things that tend to get in the way of us finishing are things like, and when I say us, of course, I mean adults with ADHD, things like low interest, right? When something is boring, or we're afraid something is going to be boring, or it seems like it's going to be, boring, or something that we're not particularly interested in or will be particularly engaged in, that can make it really hard for us to see it to fruition. When we have low motivation for something, that can make it hard for us to see something to fruition or to close those loops, right? Perfectionism, things like avoidance, procrastination, overwhelm, those are all things that can get in the way of us finishing, right? Things that are executive function related challenges that are ADHD related can also get in the way of us finishing things. And I'm talking about things like memory, our typical challenges with organization, prioritization. We lose track of the things that we're doing. Sometimes we lose track of the steps that of the things that we're doing. We have a hard time thinking of all the steps for something that needs to be done, or all the pieces and parts. And sometimes we get ourselves in over our head, right? Those are all the reasons, and of course there are many, many more, that we can get ourselves in trouble when it comes to finishing. So I always, again, remind my clients that the solution must fit the real underlying root problem. And you may have heard me talk about this before, but there are two kinds of categories of problems when it comes to ADHD that get in the way of us following through or showing up in the way that we want to show up and performing in the way we're capable of performing. There are those external challenges and there are those internal challenges. And for each kind of challenge, we have to select the right solution. The solution for an external challenge isn't going to solve an internal challenge and vice versa. Okay, so when I'm talking about external challenges, I'm talking about things that are related to our executive functions. So we need things that are outside of us, things that are external, again, to support us in those kinds of challenges, executive function challenges. So again, I'm talking about things like memory. I'm talking about things like organization, prioritization, keeping track of things, right? That's all executive function related. So we need external tools and systems and processes and strategies to help us with those external executive function type challenges. All right. That's where things like task management and planners and calendars and the right systems and the right rhythms and the right routines and the right structure and those kinds of, again, external things really support us in solving those executive function related challenges. Okay. And then the other side is the internal stuff. This is the stuff that is rooted in our thinking and our feelings and our emotions. And these are the things that are internal problems. They're inside of us. And the solution is also an internal type solution. So I'm talking about not knowing how to get started when you have poor motivation. I'm talking about perfectionism, avoidance of all kinds, everything from procrastination to productive avoidance and everything in between. I'm talking about overwhelm, when we lack clarity or when something feels too big or we don't know where to get started and we get shut down, right? All of those things are internal challenges that require specific solutions that will address those internal challenges. So remember, again, the solution must fit the problem. So your planner isn't going to help you if you're having trouble because of low motivation. Calendar is not going to help you if you're avoiding. Your task management system isn't going to solve your struggle with overwhelm. Okay, so we have to really get clear on what's going on. So when we're having trouble finishing, it's really important that we take time to identify what's going on. So I have a couple of steps for you, right? One of the things that is most important for my clients to start with, you kind of want to make sure that you can finish by starting off well, right? So starting well includes defining done. Okay. So what does done mean? Define finish before you even start. So how will I know when I'm finished? What does finished look like? Right? What's the point of the thing that I'm doing ultimately? And how will I know when I'm finished? So again, that first step that is crucial in actually finishing all the steps is to be really clear on how you define done. And if you don't know exactly what done means, for you, or how you will define done for the ultimate long range, kind of down the road big picture completion of something, then think about right now. What does done mean? What does done mean for right now? Okay, that is really important, because when we aren't clear, when we lack clarity, when something is nebulous, when something is not well defined for us, our brains have a really hard time keeping us going, right? That's when our executive function challenges, our struggles with the mental organization of information and prioritization and all of that can really get in the way of us being able to get started on something, being able to follow something through, being able to see the steps and all of that. So giving yourself clarity by defining done as the first step is really, really important. All right. Then once you've defined done up front, before you get, started too far down the road, make sure you schedule check-in points with yourself. right? So basically, you're just asking yourself, am I on track? Am I still headed toward how whatever I defined done as being, right? So these are points that you determine in advance during which you will check in with yourself, make sure you're still headed toward your definition of done for whatever this thing is, and then review and revise what you're doing and where you are at every single check-in. And this can be from a practical perspective. If you're talking about a real long-term big project, maybe a project that you're going to be working on for months, you could check in with yourself weekly. You could check in with yourself at the end of every day to see where you are on that project, or a couple times a week or whatever. A lot of times when I'm working on something, even if it's just something that's going to take me, an hour, one of the things that pops up for me as I'm thinking about this as an example that is a really a pretty common one is, say I'm going online to look something up, right? I open my web browser. Before I even get started, I want to make sure I've clearly defined done for myself. So, what's the objective here? How am I going to know when I'm done? What's the thing that I am focused on right now, finally bringing to completion? And then I'm going to set timers every so minutes, 20 minutes, depending on what I'm doing and how long I think I'm going to spend doing it. I'm going to set like intermittent timers to check in with myself, to ask myself, am I still on track? Am I still headed toward whatever it was that I defined as being done for this project or for this sitting or for this thing that I'm working on? All right. So again, define done and then schedule those check-ins with yourself right up front. And then every time you get to one of those check-in points, whether it's a timer or it's a check-in with someone else, or whether it's, I like to use meditation chimes for these things a lot of times because they're not quite as jarring as a timer or an alarm would be. I'm asking myself again, am I on track? Am I still headed toward done? And then I'm going to look at okay, what's getting in the way right now? Okay. What's the problem that's keeping me from getting to done? I have to identify that real underlying root problem. Am I avoiding? Am I distracted? Have I forgotten what I'm working on? Have I gotten myself down a rabbit hole that isn't really heading me or keeping me on the path toward my definition of done? What's really going on here? Am I avoiding? Am I procrastinating? Am I overwhelmed? Have I gotten bored? So I've gotten up and moved on. Did I get distracted? Did I get interrupted and not remember where I was? Right. So we've got to be real clear on what's getting in the way. And then I ask myself, okay, what do I need now? Meaning, what do I need now to get me moving toward done? Do I need information? Do I need resources? Do I need accountability? Do I need to go back to my task management or project management system and records and make some revisions to my plan? Do I need help with task management or project management or planning? Do I need structure? Do I need support? What is it that I need right now? Do I need a break? Do I need a nap? Do I need to pick this up tomorrow because I've gotten myself frustrated? Do I need more time, right? What do I need now? And then how will I get it? How will I get what I need? So number one, define done. Number two, schedule those check-ins with yourself in advance. Sometimes I'll call these review and revise points, but schedule those check-ins. That's number two. Number three, ask yourself what's getting in the way. Identify the real underlying root problem. And then ask yourself, what do I need and how will I get it? And lather, rinse, repeat, right? So getting really clear on what's getting in the way, getting really clear on what you need to keep moving forward, giving yourself permission to revise what you're doing every time you check in with yourself to keep you moving. Then we can work on things like, improving dopamine. We can do the things that are going to give us a little more energy. We can work on staying focused. We can work on whatever it is specifically that we need, but we really have to be clear on what it is that we need. Okay, I hope I gave you some things to think about and some ideas to help you get to the real root cause of your struggles with finishing so that you can solve them once and for all. Because guys, finishing is a skill you can learn. Just like any other skill, it takes practice and it takes the right guidance. And I'm here if you need help. But finishing is a skill you can learn. There's nothing wrong with you for not finishing things. You just haven't learned to do it in a way that really works for you. And again, it's something you can learn. So I hope I've given you a place to start and some things to think about and a different way to think about finishing. Again, I'm Lynne Edris, productivity and ADHD coach with coachingadvantages.com. You can learn more about me and what I do at www.coachingadvantages.com. And you can also connect with me and with Tara, my co-host, in the ADHD Support Talk Facebook group to discuss these episodes, share your thoughts, share your ideas, ask questions, connect with us, make suggestions on topics and guests. We would love to engage with you there in the ADHD Support Talk Facebook community. As always, I appreciate your time. I hope you found this helpful, and I'll catch you next time on ADHD Support Talk Radio. Bye for now.